Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today we're going to review a problem I have with my Cub Cadet lawnmower. And this has slowly been happening over the from the spring till the summer, where you pull it, she'll fire up, stall, and run good for the rest of the day. And now it's starting to pull it, start up, stall, pull it, start up, stall, and run rougher and rougher and rougher. And this lawnmower's got over 100 acres under it, so I mean, I got no complaints. But I'm gonna open the garage door here, and I'm gonna show you exactly what it's doing, and we're gonna diagnose why. To me, when it'll start up and then stall, do it multiple times, you finally get it running, I'm going to discount the electrical system on it, which is the spark plug and the coil. And to me, it sounds like it's running out of fuel. So I'll start it up for you here. You guys let me know what you think. And then we're going to tear right into her. Stalls out. Okay, I think you get the idea. And if I leave it here long enough, take about 10 minutes of rough running like that, then it'll smooth right out and work fine for the rest of the day. So let's see what's wrong.
Well, let's get started right here. The first place I like to start is to get your manual out, and you can see there's a fuel filter that goes into the bottom of the fuel tank, and here it is right here. So if this is restricting the fuel flow to go down to the carburetor, well, you found your problem. So what I'm going to do is, I'll show you where that fuel filter actually is. And as we zoom in here, you just take a look down there. And what I'll do is I'll get a better light for you and show you exactly where that fuel filter is. So I got the light shined on there, and you could see the fuel filter is right in there, and it's around the back of the tank there. It goes in towards the back. So what I'm going to do now is I got to go over here, and if we take a look right in there, you could see the right in there where the fuel line goes all the way in towards the carburetor. So I'm going to take all this off first, and then we'll take that fuel line off the carburetor and see what kind of flow comes out of it, because it's logical that if it's plugged at the fuel filter, well then there's your problem, right? So let's get to that next. Well, let's get to it right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is just put one of these just shut-offs here so I can block the fuel flow. And I'll just install that here. And just crank her down. Now, if you're wondering if I ever ran across one of them filters that were plugged, yes, it says to change it once a year or 100 hours, but you know what? Most people would never put 100 hours on their lawnmower in a year unless you're doing it commercially. So, and then I just get my pliers here, and we'll just take this clip off, and you can see the carburetor, you know, like is movable right now. Like, I mean, you can take a look and see, you know. So let's see if we can take that line off. There's going to be a little bit of gas flowing out of there. Not much, I imagine. Okay, to open that up, I'm going to have to stick a screwdriver in there and just kind of pry it or kind of twist it back and forth. So let's get some more tools. Well, what I found works pretty good a lot of times is these ones right here. And they just grab a hold of the hose, and you can just kind of turn it left or right. And there you go. She's coming off now. She's on there pretty good. see if I can put it off my hands now. There we go. So the line's off right there. So what I'm going to do is I'll undo the clamp and see how it flows going into the soup can. So let's do that next. Okay, so the whole idea here is to see the flow coming out of there, right? And if it comes out really good, well then you know you haven't got a plugged line, right? So here's the flow here, guys. I mean, you could see that that's flowing pretty good. I mean, you wouldn't expect to have any more of a problem with that. So I'll put the clamp back on, and it looks like we're going to take the carburetor off. So I'll put this all back together here, and I'm going to share a tip that I do. Make sure that's all stopped. There we go. I'm going to share a tip that I do before I ever take a carburetor off, and we'll do that next. Okay, that's right, guys, right there. Use your cell phone. Take yourself a couple of pictures, because you got to put these linkages all on the way they were. I'll take a couple of more. Then you have no problem putting it back together. So let's take this apart, take it over on the bench there, and see exactly what's going on. Okay, the first thing I've noticed is on almost every one of these carburetors, you've got a bottom and you've got a side nut. And they're almost all 10 mil. And that's where you're going to drain the gas out. There we go. So I'll drain the gas out of there best I can. And put this back in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a rag. I'm going to clean this all up a bit first before I even take this off, because I don't want any of this dirt or anything going in here. So I'm going to spray it down with some brake clean and clean it all up before I actually take this apart. So we'll do that next. Okay, so it's all cleaned up here. You know, I like to have it clean. No sense adding. Okay, oh, she's on there. Okay, we'll just take this off, and this is going to leave it just like this. And wow, that's pretty clean, guys. That's pretty clean. Here's the O-ring, and here is the first part that can be suspected. And take a look how clean that is. Is that nice in there or what? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a closer-up shot and show you exactly what to check on this right here. Okay, so here we are right here. You just pull this pin out. You take this off. And right here, if you look on the end, sometimes you will find like a lot of corrosion, or if you've got ethanol gas, it'll be kind of sludged up in there. So I'll just put this over here. And it's right in there where you want to shoot some carb cleaner. And I don't suggest using compressed air a lot of times, but carb cleaner. And if we take a look right in there, if you can see, right there. Okay, we'll go and take that out next, and all you need is a screwdriver. Okay, so if we take a look in there, guys, you just need a screwdriver, and you need one that will actually fit properly. And they do make a proper screwdriver for that, but I've never really had a problem. And you make sure that it's big enough that it's not going to bind on the inside when you're taking it apart. And you just unscrew this. Okay, she's not out yet. There it is right there. There we go. Okay, so the whole idea here is it's very hard to show on camera, but you have to clean that out. and on here. You see this hole going through here? It's almost impossible to actually show somebody how to do it. But I'm going to show you some of the tools that I use for all different sizes. And of course, if you take a look up there, I just spray some carb cleaner up here, in here, and anywhere where they show an external port coming out. Like a lot of these are vented, and you can see there's holes on the left and the right hand side there. If I move the throttle plate open. And that's mainly what you do. I mean, there's a lot of guys on YouTube that'll show you showing the spray can going in here and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you guys can figure that out. Shoot some in here, you know, and it's going to come out. So that's really what you do. Now I want to show you what I use to clean this. And if you take a good look there, you can see all them little holes. Yeah, you want to clean that real good. And the main one is that one right there. And to me, that doesn't look plugged. But this one here, I'm not too sure about. So I'm going to show you what I use. Okay, so here we go right here. The first one I usually go for is the really fine ones. And you can see these are used for just cleaning nozzles for welding and brazing tips for oxyacetylene. And guys, these work terrific depending on how big the hole is. But I won't be using that today. Today I'll just be using just ordinary wire. And if you just get some fine stranded wire, depending on, you know, what gauge, you go down to like, you know, like 28, 30 gauge. And this here will actually go down, you know, like this one here comes through no problem, right? And this one here looks clean, but I'm saying this one here I can't see through. Now, did I push something out there? I'm not too sure. So what I'm going to do, clean this all up, spray it in through here, come back, put it all back together, and I just want to mention something. A lot of times with the ethanol gas, I've pulled these out. Yeah, this tip has been all sludgy. So this float bowl allows the fuel to go in and out. So this monitors it to going in and out. So when the float goes down, it allows the fuel in. And then when the float comes up, it seals. And what I've found many times is if you have sludge and it's blocking off down in here, it's blocking off down in here, well, you can open this all you want, but no fuel is going to come out really. So that's why you spray out all the passages. So let's put this all back together and let's see what happens. Okay, let's take it off the hoist here. We'll give it a couple of pulls and we'll see what happens. Okay, let's give her a pull. Well, that's the way it's supposed to sound. Well, there you go. It's not that hard. Just take it apart, put it back together. You know, you just need a screwdriver to take that emulsion tube out, and that's for the main jet. And you know what? It's not hard. This stuff is not hard. A lot of people are worried about you can't put it back together. Well, you got a cell phone, right? Take the pictures as stuff goes together. I mean, taking it apart, putting it all back together is very simple. Just clean it, put it back the way you got it. And like I say, all I use is just some carb cleaner. That's about it. I really don't care for using, I mentioned before about using high pressure air. I'm not a big fan of it because, well, a lot of different systems are built differently. And of course you got into a lot of plastic pieces and you know, you never know, right? So I don't like applying a lot of high pressure in a small, you know, cavity because you could cause a lot of damage, right? So some people are good at it, not for me. And I just like to review a couple of the tools.
these are great, you know, for taking clamps off and for taking a hose off like this. And I really like this for the shut off on your hoses, because this doesn't have a shut off. And this particular carburetor does not have a manual, you know, plunger that you prime your carburetor with. And for those that have similar type of problems where it's not starting good because it's more likely not getting a prime, this has an automatic choke on it and it's self-priming, and it starts now just like it did a long time ago. And it slowly over time started to get worse and worse and worse. And you know, that's the time to actually work on it when you notice that there's a problem, rather than taking it to a shop. A buddy of mine took his to a shop, a different mower it was, right? And it was $125 because his was running erratic, up and down, up and down, up and down, surging. $125 for a little bit of tools, a can of, you know, cleaner, and off you go. Try it yourself. Don't be afraid to experiment on doing new things. And YouTube is a great place to give you a little bit of a nudge to say, you know what, you can do it too. So if you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe, come back again, and let's have some more fun. Cheers.